And we should now be live. Good evening, everyone. Bear with me, I'm just going to double check I've got everything working correctly. It would appear to be good. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Chat, are you working? Or has my thing stopped working properly? No, it says it's working fine. Is anyone there? Like, people are in chat, I assume. Oh, bugger, hang on. No, they're all in Steam. I'm going to assume people can hear me. Aggressive bottom stop. I hope you can hear me. Please confirm you can. Oh, lovely. Thank you. Everyone else has been silent since I started the stream. I'm like, is it broken? Are people just not hearing me? Yeah. I'm just going to assume everything is working completely okay. Yes, and I thought my first stream of the year back on Jurassic World Evolution 3, I'm just going to get with doing some modular building. And the plan is to modularly build this. I'm going to make it a bit bigger so everyone can see. This building, which it popped up on strangely enough, on my Facebook as part of pictures that Sims play, the Sims game. A group of people who have been building stuff on that. And I'm like, huh, that building is kind of nice. So I went down a rabbit hole of like getting a bunch of buildings that this person's made in the Sims game that I think I want to try and make into Jurassic, because I think that looks quite Jurassic Worldy if you give it the right flavoring. So that is what we're going to do here today. And I've already made a start. So I've done it just in base concrete, but this is like the base of the building. It's going to be quite big compared to a normal hotel. Like, it's double the height. But it's actually, if you look at it this way, it's actually only about half the width. So it's kind of like if you took one of these normal hotels but put it on its side. So that's what we're going for. And we're going to use the original as inspiration, but obviously we're going to make some differences, some changes as we go. So I suppose the first thing to get going on is to figure out the trim layer that I want to use. Now, I think I'm going to use these guys. Actually, I might just stick to using my classic concrete. Maybe these guys? Yeah, actually, we'll use these. And just having a look at the building itself. Yeah, this is the trim. How we trim the building is going to be something we just decide ourselves, because the Sims building does not have trim. So, camera controls, please. So, how was everyone's Christmases and New Year? Did everyone have a good time? Yours was good. Good. Glad to hear. Did you get anything like really, really good for Christmas? Like any standout gifts? I'm wearing one of mine at the moment, actually. Yours will stand out as well. God, Dane acting like it's a competition.
It is.
It is not.
If I don't beat your mother at giving you a gift, I've lost.
I think you beat my mum this year.
Yay!
You got a mini fridge. That's
Useful.
a new one. Did you ask for a mini fridge? I suppose is the first question. And then I suppose my second question would be, why did you ask for a mini fridge? You didn't ask for it, but you do drink a lot. It does kind of sound like me. Sometimes. Hello, Corey. You haven't played Evolution 3 this year. Trust me, this is the first time I've played for a while. I did a little bit of modular building over the holidays, but apart from that, I haven't really touched this game since the last stream on it. Just because it's probably going to sound a bit weird, but I don't really see this game as fun. Or rather, it's not a game you just start up for like 20 minutes, half an hour to an hour to do some playing through of it, like any other video game. This game just takes too much time and effort to be like that. So it's kind of low down on my games to play for fun list. Sure people understand what I mean. You've gotten bored of it. Yeah, I think that's very understandable because of the way that the game is. You can have all the fancy modular building and everything you want, but the game hasn't really changed enough in other ways. A lot of the time it feels a lot better, just, you know, too similar to Evo 2. I'm thinking for this first version of the building, we'll just try and go with the sort of original styling that they have, which I think the original styling is already pretty like Jurassic World. So we'll go with the original styling. So lots of white concrete, essentially. And then we'll take it from there. That's something I've been trying to kind of work on. There's a few buildings that I've designed which I basically want to try and recreate the building in different park styles just by changing like their materials and stuff. Just because I think that's the real way to use the modular building quickly and efficiently. Just swap out different colors and material types rather than building entirely new buildings every time. And this hotel, I think, is a really good example of what we can do with that, because we can just change the materials, change the colors, and we'll get like we'll change the roofing elements, and we'll get like a Jurassic Park version and an Asian version, and etc., etc. Right. Lovely. So that's that trim. That's the trim layer done. I'm not sure what to do with trimming these sticky outy bits. We'll have to figure that out. Might be a hot take. Evolution 2 was and still is better than Evolution 3. It just had a charm to it even without the new species, juveniles, and dimorphism. I kind of agree, but I would be careful about using the word better. I don't think it's better, but I do think it had more of a identity, if that makes sense. Like, I personally feel that Evolution 1 and 2, they had their own identity, which to me I think Evolution 3 has lost. How many squares? And they've lost it solely on making it basically Planet Zoo. That's the biggest and the most annoying thing about it to me, is all the good stuff about the Evolution games they got rid of just so they could make it appeal to Planet Zoo players a little bit more. Sucks, personally. Right, all these pieces now need to be removed, because what we're going to do is we're going to have fake interiors behind each of these glass sections. So you can see in the picture, let me just bring it up bigger for you guys. So you can see that inside all of those glass sections on that side of the building, that you can see all the way through them. So what we're going to do is we're going to use those for fake interiors. So the one on the ground floor will make look like a sort of waiting area, a sort of lounge area. And then the floor above, I'm thinking we could turn into like a swimming pool. The one above that we could turn into like a the name escapes me. Like a plant room, like a greenhouse. I can't remember the actual word for it I'm looking for. And then the one above that will turn into something else. So that's the plan. But we'll need to put glass into all of those areas. So that is what I'm going to do next. Because this bit's going to take the longest. Because we don't have very good glass pieces. We have very shitty glass pieces. In fact, I can't even use the glass wall pieces. I actually need the glass floor pieces, I think it is. No. Are they glass roof? Yes, they are. The glass roof pieces, which we're then going to turn into wall pieces. Looking at this building. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the trim as a floor. Actually, no. What we'll do is we'll do it how they've done it. What they've got is like they've got like a bit that goes around the base, and then same thing up here. And then they filled in the space with the glass. We'll do it that way. And then obviously once we've got the structure done, then it comes time to do like the fake interior and everything. But we'll start with getting the main structure done. That's interesting. Oh, it's just a bit too short. I do kind of want to stick to single panels. But I was kind of hoping that would be big enough to fill it up. But we can make do. Okay, the fact is it's not going to be perfect that side either. Just have to make the upper section a little bit taller, but that's fine. I think that's roughly center. We really need some better glass pieces in this game. Because these glass panels are just... They're not a bad stopgap measure, but... You know, they're not perfect, that's for sure. And to quote Mr. Skywalker, this is where the fun begins. I have to design the interior of these. Oh, I left some pieces out. That was silly of me. No, Berenson, we are here. I can see you. Your chat is not broken. It's just people. Well, it's a quiet stream. People are not very chatty today, it seems. But that's fine. January is always a slow month. Not very much, Berenson. We are just building the building that you can see in the corner. That floor, and then let's do the same thing. There's that floor. Now we just need to figure out filling in those gaps. Probably just going to be easiest to put a bunch of this in, I guess. Another gap filled in. Another gap filled in. And then this one just needs to be there. So that's pretty much the glass parts. What we do need to do is fill in. This needs to be filled in with wood, because that's wood on the other side of the building. And we need to fill in this at the back of this building. Now, in the other pictures I have, so that's all just one. This is all just one. But it's not quite level with that. So I'm going to go there. No, let's actually make it level with these. But these bits are not present, so what I need to do is fill in those little gaps. Concretum. That's fine. that one. And that one. That's fine. There's actually 3 different shots of this particular building. I've put the one up that's kind of the most, like, clear. But the other shots show other sides of the building, which is what I'm doing here. I just want to get, like, the structure of the building correct. Then we can move on to sort of the harder stuff. How has that ended up with a gap? How peculiar. Oh well. Just duplicate. I really hope one of the first things they do in the update is fix the fact... Oh, actually, that's going to be hidden by a planter, actually. There's actually, like, in the actual building, there's like a planter that fills up the space at the bottom of this. So I'm like, I don't actually need to worry about that gap. I can just stick a planter in here. And that's fine. Make it a little bit bigger. Just to fit in the gap a bit more. There we go. It is just a simple part of modular building that sometimes it's easier to just cover up a gap than mess around filling it in. Okay. So, more or less, that's pretty much done. I'm just going to finish the roof. The roof's actually quite chunky. It's going to need quite a bit around it, but that's a job for another day. Right. So I guess the easiest thing to do is to start on the ground floor and work our way up. And I kind of want to do some big windows. That's what they are in the original. See. Maybe we replace these with glass instead. I don't dislike that, although I do dislike that. can't you... I'm gonna assume it's because I haven't used... wrong type of concrete. Okay, I don't dislike that. I won't be doing that for the upper floors. We'll have actual windows in the upper floors, but I don't dislike the ground floor being big glass. Oh, hello, Basti. Me and Dane celebrated New Year's by playing games with our buddies and having a few too many drinks. And then in the actual building, this entrance, what I've turned into the entrance, because the actual building itself didn't have one. This is all just black. We can change that. And then the floor up here. Now I'm thinking, do we try to make it appear as if... So these rooms on like the ground floor have balconies, and then the rooms above do not. So if you make this for a Jurassic World style, I think we could still use those. Although I do think these are more in keeping with the Jurassic World style. And then windows. So windows would be very large compared to the doors. Those are very big compared to the doors. And there's a lot of hotel room space in there. Screw it. It's not, it doesn't have, it's not, we're not aiming for an exact replica of the one I found on Facebook. We're just aiming for something, you know, near enough. What do the Jurassic World buildings use for trim? Let's have a look. So they're using... They're just using plain concrete between rooms. Okay, that's interesting. I don't like that. I want there to be something in between. Trims, what have we got in here? Columns? Actually, what about just some simple columns? Or wood? Just some simple panels. I don't dislike that, actually. Doesn't have to be that far. And then we can trim the top. And do the same over here. Yeah. Oh, we're back in camera angle 1 again. I do love it how it arbitrarily decides to put the camera back into vision 1. Like, I wish the camera would just stay in the vision type that you set it at. Stop moving the bloody camera. I don't want you to. I finally got guests to walk in the aviary thanks to Kyodenic's free build. I won't be modding for a very long time. Mostly because I think I think that was one of my big problems with Evolution 2. I think I resorted to modding it too fast. And it coloured my opinion on the game. So I won't be modding for some time. But it's nice to know that the mods are coming, you know. It's kind of part and parcel of keeping the Jurassic World Evolution games running these days, is modding. I think everyone admits that Evolution 2 and 1 would have been dead a long time ago without modding. Okay, now what other windows do we have? Those are way too small. I reckon those will be too small as well. If we just provided these but made them smaller. Like, how... Why would you? How tall would it have to be? That is just about getaway withable. Yeah, I think that makes so basically what we're saying here is that like these ones they have the outside balcony, the rooms above, they're just simple rooms. So basically what you've got in each kind of cube is you've got 2 floors of rooms. I think that makes sense. Obviously every single one of them is going to need setting up. And we'll have to design the balconies. Joy of this is that it can be basically exactly the same on both sides. Might have to lower bits around a bit, but like this sort of size of hotel is actually something I can see legitimately housing hundreds of guests, unlike the actual hotels in game that don't seem big enough to house like any. Shift down slightly. Wow, that's the front of this building is going to be shiny. We'll leave the concrete above the door. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that's all right. Okay, and then basically at every floor, they have like planters, and then there's like some lighting, like a light show thing on either floor. So, planter. And I think we'll go with... See, I would almost say it should be wood. Well, maybe not for the Jurassic World style. And I've built so many Jurassic Park and Din things that I've kind of don't know what the Jurassic World style looks like. So boring and concrete and made to look like an Apple product is generally what it seems to be. So we have that. Where is actually a Jurassic World building? It's just so they're using. That looks like standard concrete, and they're just painting it. What other Jurassic World buildings have we got in? Yeah, the shops are just basically concrete as well. It's all just the same painted concrete, isn't it? So actually, if you just change the color of this, it'll be pretty much Jurassic World. Not to say that I like Jurassic World's concrete. I actually think it's quite dull, but I do want this to kind of at least fit in with the other buildings. Especially given how big it is. This may take some time. So, if you make it... Okay, that's brilliant white. That's way too much. That's just too grey. I reckon that one there. We missed a few bits. Yeah, I think that's the right white. So let's do the rest of this side of the... I think what I'm going to do is like focus on this side of the building, and then given that it's we spent nearly an hour on this already, I'm probably going to end up finishing this off stream. But let's focus on designing like one half the building. By the way, we will be back to standard running from this week onwards, so expect there to be a video on next Wednesday. In fact, the first two videos for this year are already done and dusted. They'll be live next couple of weeks. A couple of interesting discussion-based videos. Curious to see what people will make of them. Oh. One or two missed elements there. Lovely. That's looking a bit more Jurassic Worldy already. I always mod games when mods provide what the publishers fail to bring. True, Basti. That's kind of the way I do it. Like, in my opinion, if the game has missed something that I think is really quite important, then I will mod it in myself. The problem is Evolution 3 needs kind of stuff that modders haven't been able to do yet. Primarily things like mechanics. It is mechanically where this game fails. Like, in terms of the creativity, this game is very impressive, but in terms of mechanic elements, the mechanics of this game are bad. That's just an unfortunate, inconvenient truth. You need some, like, in terms of planting for these, I'm thinking of something quite bushy. It needs to be tall bush rather than short. But it also needs to fit in that gap. It needs to be long and thin. No. It needs to be long and it needs to be tall. Yes, that's what I mean. I would almost be tempted to say that ivy would work better for it. Well, actually, bamboo might actually be better. But none of these are small enough. Yeah, they're all too bushy. And I'd need like 1 million of them. These things would work, but they're a bit bland. These would work, but they are, again, a bit tall. Well, for now, we'll just put these in. Just so we have a reference for how it's going to look. And then obviously each of these windows we need to give, I think that's fine. This one doesn't matter what the color is because I'm going to make it look like a hotel on the inside. There we are. The brown, I quite like that brown as it is, so we'll leave that as it is. We will make the windows We'll make the actual door windows that though. This one we'll leave as default. But we need to change the colors. This one we will make hotel as well. This one we'll leave as default. This one we need door color. This one is the one we'll make the hotel. And here, this one we'll make hotel. And what have we got? We got like two. We'll keep the two above it as blank. So nice. Oh, see, it's funny you should mention that, Basti. Like, so there was a case some years ago that a Star Trek fan was doing a like Star Trek walk around ship sort of experience, for want of a better term. And he got cease and desisted by Paramount, who own Star Trek. They were like, yeah, no, we're not going to let you do that. So he pivoted and made the game about the Orville instead, which was Seth MacFarlane's new thing. And they haven't, they don't have a problem with him making a walk around the Orville style game at all. And it just baffles me the way that some of these companies handle their audiences, because it's like they're doing stuff because they love your product, and then you go and hit them with like a cease and desist. It's free advertising. Why would you not want free advertising? Doesn't make sense to me. And I think this one is the one we'll make hotel. I think that's scattered enough to make it look random. And it means it's not so, in your face. Now, what to do down here? I quite like the idea of having like just really big planters down here. That just kind of like have them. How big would they have to legitimately be? Yeah, but then we wouldn't be able to do anything with them. What about some columns? Some classic Jurassic Park style column? Since Jurassic World loves to ape the Jurassic Park style. Maybe just, maybe these sort of things? I don't necessarily dislike that. It does look a bit weird with the side trim. You know what? I think I've been overthinking it. I think that looks perfectly fine. And we can still put like a plant or something. Yeah, I was overthinking it. We do need to put a door in here though. I think I'm going to go with this style. Jurassic World. We will put the columns in here though. What we'll do is we'll have columns kind of there and there. That one could do with being moved over its head. And then that, I think we will change the material of. I do like this copper. See, I think this copper does have a little Jurassic World to it. Maybe if it was darker. This is a bit biocine though. What just glass? Or maybe we go the whole hog with this sort of Jurassic World wannabe, Jurassic Park wannabe stuff and use plaster. We need the right color for this. We want it to be closer to like a sandstone. And I'm thinking if we do the same to this... Let me have... Ah! I didn't ask you to do that. I kind of understand what I want it to look like. It's just a matter of getting what I want. No. Thank you. See, I think that ends up looking too much like Jurassic Park if you use any of the fossil wall sections. Like, that's a very distinct Jurassic Park element. Jurassic World, I don't think would do that. What is this? Do you have a different flavor? I don't like the red ones. I only like the blue ones. I'll try it. Sort of camera. Thank you. Chocolate. I am picky with my chocolates.
And by the ones you actually like are the yellow ones, which are the white chocolate. Not the blue ones, which are incorrectly said. And the teal ones are coconut.
Okay, yeah. Now it's starting to come together a little bit more. Shall we just remove a set of these walls? Let's have a look inside. So we're going to have to give the insides floors. So this is the waiting area floor. I feel like the waiting area would be carpet or stone or tile. wood, maybe? We only have one type of wood floor. That's a surprise. I don't know how I'm going to fit a swimming pool in here. I have to figure that one out. Can't recolor the grass, so you can't turn the grass into like carpet. I wonder if you change the color of the chokin, does it look like carpet? Kind of. I bet people didn't know about this. Simple solution. So what color carpet shall we make our hotel waiting room / lounge? A red carpet. A red carpet. Like, you know, I actually don't dislike that. I actually really quite like that red being used for that. Okay, we need to put in some artificial wool. We need something that would look good. Really, I would like some wood paneling. Okay, it's a bit too rustic. Oh yeah, that has hotel all over it. Okay. No. Oh, look how regal that looks. Mahogany everywhere. Red carpet. Beautiful views. Oh, that's Regal Hotel if ever I knew one. Obviously, since this is a waiting room, you know, we'll have tables, posh tables, chairs, stuff like that. Okay. Now this floor... Actually, before we get too far on, let's just save a copy just in case things go badly. Lovely. Right. This floor is the floor I want the swimming pool to be on. Which I do think is going to necessitate some... interesting work. Because how... Where are the swimming pools? These pools are so... like, high up off the ground. How easy would it be to put in a fake floor up to that level? Not too difficult, actually. And difficulty would then come to this bit. We can do some adjustments. the idea of there being a separate hot tub. Okay, and if we get the freely placeable one. Make sure it's not behind the glass. This plan turned out to be more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Which tends to happen whenever I set my mind to building a project of any sort. I always have some idea that like sounds really simple on paper. And then it turns out to be like the most impossible thing to do in reality. But hey, look at this. This is actually looking pretty decent, I think. That just about covers up that. Let's move these up slightly as well, just so they match. Don't mind being able to see the wood. And then we need to give them like a way in. So there's always a way in. figure out what I want to do for material in here. You are the wrong color. Excellent. You for now. Oh, we need to give it a roof. You wish you had an indoor swimming pool. They're so expensive. Someone I used to know, or someone I do know, has an outdoor heated swimming pool, and the costs were astronomical. utterly ruinous costs. Roof. No, maybe just a simple panel roof. Although, how tall will the roof need to be? I think that panel roof makes sense. It's boring, but it makes sense. Unless we went with something really spectacular. Here's an idea. What if we gave it like copper roof? Oh, the camera control. The camera does not like me. Yeah, what if we gave it like a copper roof? What if we made the copper like like the green stuff goes when it's exposed to something like that? That actually looks really cool. I quite like that. That's cool. I dig that. I really like how shiny it is as well. Okay, and then obviously this floor. This is the one that's going to be the plant room, for want of a better term. Or maybe actually make it like an indoor like Zen garden. That would be quite cool. So for that, maybe we could have... We'll give it glass walls to infer that people can look in. We have Zen pieces, right? Yeah. And then this will just be like our Zen floor. So we'll have... So I think we got some different shapes of like Zen tile. Yeah, we've got like some square, some circles. So we'll have to figure out the best way of making this look good. But that's kind of the gist for that floor. And then this floor... I don't know what to do with this one. Maybe we could make it the restaurant. That actually makes quite good sense, I think. Every hotel needs a good restaurant. And then for the restaurant, let's go with this. Go with the light wood paneling. This, I think. Oh, we need to give all these floors a roof as well. Well, for this one, the idea of using that chalk. cover that up. Oh, honestly, building multi-floor buildings is actually annoying as hell in this game. It's so clear that the game is not designed with that in mind. Okay. Right, and then this will just be, rather we can get rid of. Need to move this up a layer. And then for the posh restaurant, I think we're probably going to be looking at some tile. Then I think roofing wise, I should probably build a wooden roof. Have some wooden beams. Everyone loves a beamed ceiling. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of rough edges to sort out still. Ugh. Right, and then in the actual building, this this back column is actually made of wood. It's wood paneling, so let's go and get some wood. And let's have a look. It's probably gonna have to be this, but it needs to be darker. I'll have to do some color changing. But you don't know the half of it. You can get so many buildings in the UK have beamed ceilings. Not even funny. I want this to be darker. How dark is that? That's acceptable. Yeah, that works. Nah. Wrong button. Nice. Hello, crazy cat Miri. Hello, Basti. Again. I don't know if you had disappeared. Just realised in over nearly 2 hours I haven't had a drink. I really need to get better at doing that. Oh, right. Sorry, Basti. No, I think the ceiling in here needs something. I mean, I'd almost go as far as to say we could probably do with a standard wood ceiling in here as well. Oh, this camera. You know, when they decided to mess around with the camera when it came to the lagoons in Jurassic World Evolution 2, I remember distinctly saying, they can't come up with a worse camera than this. And they've done it again. Rather, they've done it again. They've come up with a terrible camera. Honestly. Really, for placing ceilings, I think I'm just going to have to use the free look. Even though it is an absolute bugger at times. That's a swimming pool. Oh my lord. Stay where I put... Where am I? Right, okay. There we go. Camera, will you please just stay here now? Yes, you will. Thank you. Bloody hell. Okay. And of course, now that I'm looking up, it's like, oh, you cannot place this in the sky. Yes, I know, game. I just want to place you in the corner. Ugh. Making a complete ass of myself. Anyway. Carrying on. They're not sticking out. Good. Okay. Ceiling for the nice carpeted entrance room with the mahogany paneling done. Nice shiny copper ceiling for the swimming pool. Although not sure on this material for the walls. Might change. This stuff, I'm actually thinking of changing for grass, actually. I kind of want to do a sort of... Yeah, I might do something similar. You know what I've done? Where am I? Where's my... Not that one. Oh, my lord. Where is it? Am I going to have to search my own blueprints? I wish they would fix this problem as well. The bloody thumbnail's not working properly. Right. That's the one I wanted. So I'm thinking of replacing the roof in the Zen garden with the fake moss wall and have plants growing out of the top. Which would look a bit bizarre, I think. Maybe too bizarre. I'm just not sure I like the chakram. Maybe it just needs a different color. And then we need a... Right, so we definitely need a roof material for the... what will be the restaurant. Not very many choices. Honestly, tempted to just go with the copper and change the color of the shiny copper, if I'm honest. Because I do really like how this looks. Okay, something for a restaurant. Maybe a blue? Maybe something closer to an orange? It's a bit much. Maybe a blue, but make it darker blue? Nah, that does not go with the wood. Gold. Oh, gold is very tacky. No, I don't want this to look like Trump Tower. Deep red is a bit... Well, actually, maybe if we make it like... No, I don't dislike the deep red. I think the deep red kind of works. Z fighting is annoying, and, you know, it is what it is. I think the deep red will work. Yeah. Okay, so what material do we go with for... this then. We got a concrete panel in the right color somewhere here. Yes, we do. Oh my lord! Fix the duplicate function, Frontier, for fudge's sake. Can't believe they broke that. Okay. So, wall material for a swimming pool. Bamboo? No, that's hideously Hawaiian. Brick. It's a little high school. Concrete's just boring and plain. Copper I'm already using. Corrugated. 2 industrial. Glass. Not very good for privacy. You know what I really want? I want tiles, like mosaic tiles. That's what I want. But they don't have tile walls. Ooh. Where's that wonderful that we used in the restaurant? Where's that tile for? It's tile 2, right? Is this... That's non-gridded. Ah. Okay. We'll use a non-grid. Make this a little bit more swimming pool-y. Okay, blue and maybe a lighter blue. Maybe a white. Yes. They don't tessellate very well, do they? Like, what's going on with the edging? They haven't been made to tessellate, have they? Like, even if I rotate them, they've really not been designed to match up anywhere. It's just plain silly. Actually, they have. I've just haven't got them in the right places. Still. There we go. That's better. Nothing sticking through to the Zen floor. Why can I not re-enter the bit? Thank you. And we definitely need definitely some doors. Make this for the glass, right? Yep. Do love using orange glass sometimes. Like, I've used orange glass in a lot of my din buildings, just because I just love the way it looks. I think it makes sense for the door to be this side. Hey, that looks so much better now. I'm actually quite happy with that. Oh, I need to do the same for the hair, but yeah, that looks good. And I think I don't think it clashes too much with the wood floor, and I don't think it clashes with the copper green ceiling either. I think it works. This is probably a damning indictment as I design these rooms that I should probably never be in charge of a hotel. I'm sure a proper hotel person would look at this like indoor swimming pool bit and be like, it's disgusting. Change it. Anyway, it is now 11 o'clock, so I'm going to save this as is, as a work in progress. And I should probably continue working on this. Tomorrow I'm going to go back to the Norwegian park. So we won't be continuing with this tomorrow. I shall probably continue with this off stream. But then when it's done, I shall show it off. But we got quite far, I think. Reasonably far. It is reasonably accurate to the building. So, good night, Mary. Thank you for popping in. Nice to see you here in this tiny little YouTube channel of mine. Thank you, Brenton, as well. Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will be back on Sunday with some general park building and dino stuff, and we'll see how the Norwegian park is going. And yeah, I will speak to you later. Until then, wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your evenings. Stay safe, and good night.